What we see here is our Shasta daisy, and I just explained to you what's going on above ground here, what we're going to see. But below ground, the roots are still respiring, they're still breathing.
Here's our beautiful English lavender, well, one of them that we have, and you can see it's still fairly green. So
hey everybody, Sean and Allison here from Spoken Garden. Today, we're going to give you a garden tour and let you see what's going on in our garden.
Yeah, we want to show you a few of our plants because we have some interesting things going on, and we also want to talk about what happens to them during the winter. But before we get to all that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on every daily video. All right, you guys, we're in one section of our front yard garden, and there's not a lot to look at. It's going on into winter. A lot of plants are going dormant. Earlier this year, you might have watched our video where we transplanted this lavender, and it seems to be doing pretty well. One of our azaleas, which is so beautiful, I can't wait for you guys to see this next spring. It has lost all of its leaves. It's a species of azalea that actually does lose its leaves. You can see all the buds coming in that will bloom next spring. We can't wait to see those. One really interesting thing this year is our glads have not browned yet. They're all still very green. This seems really late in the season, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. This is our first year growing them, but I would think with all the cool temperatures we've had, they would die back down to the ground and be done.
Because some of them have already, but the majority of these are still green. So we can't really touch those yet. We're just leaving those alone. But it's kind of fun because we can just leave them and let them add some interest and color to the garden, especially over here where there's not much else going on.
So guys, we're just taking a walk now through the garden in the gravelled area, and here's some of our potted plants, or the remnants of them. We've cut back the liatris.
Yeah, they don't look very pretty right now.
There's a squirrel hole or two right there.
I know, look at that.
Yep. They're digging everything. Then we go over here and look at that. There's some more squirrel holes. Okay, some more glads, more glads. Oh, and here's our Shasta daisies. Cool. Now you guys saw us talk about these, and we did a couple of videos on these this past year. But now most of the stems have died back on these. There's a couple that are still hanging on there in this other plant over here, but really these are mostly starting to go dormant, and in our climate they'll keep those leaves above ground and they won't all turn brown and die back from the crown. And yeah, this is what we get to look at for the rest of the fall and winter. But below ground, the roots are still respiring, they're still breathing, and they're still growing. You know, we are always looking at what's above ground, but out of sight, out of mind, especially below ground, we don't notice and we don't think about what's happening below ground. And there's still a lot happening below ground with almost all of these plants, especially with their roots and storage of nutrients and still growing and picking up water. And so they're still doing their thing below ground. So it's fun to think about.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, like Sean explained what's going on to you guys. And we talk a lot more about plant growth in our upcoming book, which you can pre-order down below. We'd love to get a copy of this in your hands, and it'll be out in February 2021.
Guys, moving along in our garden, here's our mums, our potted mums that we showed you a little bit earlier, and them flowering. I think we did a plant chat on that.
Yes, I believe so.
And so here they are now, and they're dying back. They're dying back for the season. They flowered, and now they're going to start dying back. So we're going to have a video coming up on this another couple days to how to overwinter these, or how we overwinter ours here in Zone 8B. What do we got here?
This is so bizarre, you guys. We have a bunch of tulips coming up, and we might have pointed this out on a different video. Look how far above the ground they've emerged already.
Jeez,
it is December.
It's weird. This is a little early, or maybe a little late, depending on how you look at it. But
yeah, really.
That's really, really early for these to be popping on the ground right now, at least in our climate.
They're super confused.
Yep.
So we also have cut back the liatris in this pot. We need to separate some of these bulbs, but we'll probably do that next spring.
Mm-hmm.
Here's our beautiful English lavender, well, one of them that we have, and you can see it's still fairly green. So we're enjoying the color and the contrast. And you can see we haven't pruned this back yet. We have lots of flower stems on here still. Actually, they still have a fragrance, so that's kind of fun. We'll probably take care of this in the early spring, and we'll show you how we do that later on.
We've got our hydrangea here, and yep, it's done flowering. We need to probably deadhead it sometime. We're gonna wait on it though for a little bit because we don't want to start pruning right now. We've got some cold temperatures on the way, and they kind of fluctuate this time of year for us. It's a little unpredictable, so we're gonna leave these for a bit. But if you want to know more about pruning hydrangeas just in general, we have 2 videos just on that. So guys, lastly, here's our dogwood. You've heard us talk about this dogwood tree over this whole year, and yep, it's lost all of its leaves now. It's going dormant, as we speak. This is gonna be a fun tree to get into a little bit later, next couple weeks probably, to prune. So we've got a lot of work to do on this and get it cleaned up, and so that'll be fun. So overall, guys, what's going on in our garden right now is plants are losing their leaves, they're going dormant, their stems are dying back, but the roots and underneath the ground is still very active, even this time of year and all through the winter. So it's fun to think about and look at all our plants and just know that they're still actively growing, they're still healthy, and what we can expect in the coming spring with all their new flesh and growth.
And you might be wondering about watering this winter. You know, you might be new to gardening this year, and it depends on where you live and what your climate's like. Because like here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of rain. We've already had a lot of rain, so we actually don't need to water during the winter. But if we randomly had a dry spell of no rain, no snow or anything for a while, we might need to consider watering.
So you might have heard me mention that we're gonna start pruning on our dogwood tree because it's going dormant and we need to get some things pruned out of it. Well, we've got a pruning webinar coming up if you haven't heard us talk about it yet. December 10th at 4 p.m. this coming Thursday. We have a mix of a live and pre-recorded webinar that we're gonna present to you. The caveat is you gotta get signed up, you got to reserve your spot before the webinar because it's going to be an unlisted video. We're not going to have it a public video on YouTube. So you got to reserve your spot so we can send you the link to watch the video in the webinar.
That's right, and it's free, and we'd love to invite you to join us. You're going to learn a ton of pruning tips and tricks for this winter.
Yep, winter pruning do's and don'ts. So guys, leave your comments and questions down below for us. We love hearing from you. Give us that thumbs up, let us know we're doing a good job, and subscribe to our channel so you get updates on our latest videos.
And we'll be back tomorrow with our next garden care video, so come on by to see what we're up to, and have a great day ahead.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.